Hey everyone, welcome to a cup of melanin. I have with me Dominic Modise, who is a very well-known tennis coach. He basically helps high school students know how to get to the USA to play college sports on a scholarship. And I think he's one of those alchemists because, sports is something that you need to dedicate yourself to, because that means sacrificing your body and taking care of yourself, your mind, your mental health. So it requires a lot of discipline. So then that's why I decided that I must talk to Dominic. And welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, but then he can tell you more about himself before we get into this cup of melanin. So grab your tea, grab your coffee, and we'll get into it.
Thank you. So my name is Dominic Modise. Actually, I was born in South Africa, and how I started playing tennis was my coach came to our school, primary school, and asked who wants to play tennis, and I was like, oh, I'll just play. But I never liked tennis before because everybody was wearing long pants and living in a community where soccer is very big. I tried tennis and then I got addicted to it. I got better. Got selected to play tournaments in different countries, and then I started realizing I need to get out of South Africa because of apartheid, and there were no opportunities for black people, and me and my friends decided we want to be more in a diverse community and lifestyle, and have the opportunity to study and use our tennis to go somewhere with our lives, which pretty much we end up becoming something like that in my life. So then I moved to the US in 1992-93, and I didn't have a scholarship. I wrote letters about 50 to 100 letters every year to different colleges, trying to get scholarship, just asking people that have studied in the US, which was probably 2 or 3 black people, if I ran into them in tournaments, and they helped me. So one guy gave me a book, and then I started using it, and I made phone calls. One school gave me free accommodation, and I paid for my tuition. I worked as an auditor for Ernst & Young after high school, and then I went to the US, and then when I got to the US, I went to the junior college for a semester. After a semester, I decided to go to Nick Bollettieri Tennis Academy, which is one of the best academies in the world, which I was, working among Agassi, Tommy Haas, Anna Konikova, you can name it, the best players in the world. I worked there, and I played tennis, and the coach offered me a scholarship. Then I went to University of Hawaii, where I played Division I tennis, and I coached after, and then I became a college coach.
Okay, that's a really a long journey, but then you're here today. I just had a question to clarify. When you said that you're working at Ernst & Young, were you in high school in South Africa or you were in high school in the USA?
I was in high school in South Africa. So my mom had a friend who worked for, and they were looking for young people that just graduated to intern. So I ended up getting a job there, and but I didn't like to wear a suit because I was so into sports. So then I decided, it was not my thing.
Yeah, and then when did you realize that it wasn't your thing? Was it the suits or what?
No, I've always I loved tennis. When I was young, I wanted to be a professional tennis player. I've always wore shorts and t-shirts, and I was tennis was my life, was everything to me. So that's the reason why I always had a dream. My dream was to go to America and play college tennis or to become a professional tennis player.
Okay. And so, of course, I'm sure people are wondering, so then how did a person who left South Africa go to the USA and end up in one of the whitest countries in the world, Finland?
Good question. Actually, I get this question a lot, actually. I came to Finland. I was a college coach for 20 years, and I used to coach at this North Carolina. And my team, we had Finns, and that's how my Finnish connection came. and I started coming to Finland recruiting. Then I met my spouse here, and that's how. And then then we decided a couple of years. I was like, it'd be nice to live in Europe, so I gave it a shot to try to live in Europe, and that's the reason why I moved to Finland.
Okay. So how long have you lived in Finland?
A year now.
A year. And what are the things that you have noticed, like having lived in 3 different continents in your lifetime?
Yeah, I mean, the way of thinking is different. The way of doing things is different. I just did a trip from. I was in South Africa. Then I went to New Orleans. I'm based in New Orleans, and I was looking at the things that we worry about. Then I was like, okay, in South Africa they don't have water.
Mm-hmm.
That's like in 2019, as water is an issue.
Mm-hmm.
Then you go to the U.S. and we're having issues that has nothing to do with that. Life is easy, and we're trying to figure out, okay, what is an issue? We're still dealing with equality. We're still dealing with so many things that are affecting other people. On socioeconomic, racial issues, health, and then you come to Finland, and then you realize, oh, life is also too easy because a lot of things are very mental here than I've ever experienced in my life. It's not as in the U.S. you're busy working. In Finland you are working, but also you don't have time to think. In the U.S., where here I feel like people have time to think.
Yeah. So do you feel like in Finland the work-life balance is way better?
Yeah, I mean, you can choose how to balance your life here, and you could. It's interesting. I mean, I like to work. I like to push harder, but at the same time, I don't like to be. How do you say it? I see that glass half full, but I don't want to be too comfortable. Maybe because I've lived in a culture where you have to go and get it, But at the same time, I do appreciate, this time that I can have for myself in Finland, and I can work, I can breathe, I can sleep at night, Where before I used to work 72 hours a week, traveling around 9 months on the road, coaching, pushing hard, and now I have a different mindset about work and living. But you do get busy here, which is, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, but it's a different kind of busy.
Yeah, it's different kind of busy.
What is your brand name called? I didn't mention it.
Well, I mean, my company is called Play College Sports USA. When I came here, I've seen a lot of potential. There's a lot of talent in Finland. The most important thing is getting the message out there and getting young Finns to go to the US and experience who they are and knowing how to be more confident. I would say playing college sports made me confident. I've seen players that I've recruited in the last 20 years that are very confident. They can stand up and sell any product. They can, explain their research or just the attitude. I mean, you don't lose your roots of being a Finn, but when you come back, you're on top of the game. You're marketable. I mean, there's so much energy out of you, because in the US you're forced to be more competitive. You're forced to speak up. You're forced to see things and push the envelope a little bit more.
And what would you say the challenges are with having Finnish clients in general?
I mean, the pace is different. The good thing is I would say, I mean, there's no challenge as far as they're very loyal, which is very good, because you are teaching them a lot about this. There's a thing with this business. It's like I'm teaching them more about how to do this. But it's different because in the US, the process of getting things done is faster. Here, people have to think about it. So that's a big difference also with, how things are done. But I respect thinking, making sure, double checking everything's fine.
Yeah. And what would you say the attitude towards you being a coach is like here, because there are not that many black tennis coaches in Finland.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's funny because you have to also study. I don't know how you have to study your experience. It's so different. I mean, culturally, you know, people might not say much. They might just look at you,
Yeah, I know
or
that
they
look.
might be like, oh, we have a minority or black guy teaching tennis. Oh, well, that's interesting. But you know, after a while, people do like respect what you can do. People appreciate. People say thank you. People say I'm late. Sorry, I'm late, and they do give you a good vibe. I mean, they don't tell you directly like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, you know, you're good or you're the best, but they later on they do tell you. But every time you work with them, they will say, you know, that was a really good one. Thank you very much. Wow. I mean, they will share how they feel about something. I think it's a different way where in the US you will definitely immediately get like, yeah, he's an amazing coach. He's awesome. But
Yeah.
here it takes time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, because I've noticed in Finland it's all about building relationships and trust,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
But then it depends on what side of the spectrum you are also.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it depends on where you're coming from, because I feel like in general, with my interactions with other people, it usually there's always that element of surprise that you can do something, and for me, it's usually like, yeah, I mean, like it shouldn't be surprising. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, and that's the thing that I just wanted to also debunk is like it's not all about doing. It's not all about doing different types of or putting people in a box, because like we're so multifaceted, because why like being in an office is not the only way that you can actually show up, you know.
Yeah. No, I mean, you have to, I mean, the country's young, so sometimes we forget because the infrastructure is so updated, is so much same as, you know, New York or any other places that is developed in the world. But the thing is that what I've learned also, you have to earn your place here. Like sometimes it's kind of like, it's weird because like I was just telling a friend of mine, let's say you just did Broadway and then you moved to Finland, you could end up washing dishes and then, and then later,
That is so true.
wow, you were in Broadway. But
Yeah.
but then sometimes I feel like, you know, they miss out a lot too, because the resources, the knowledge and what can empower them is right in their hands. Because sometimes you don't have to, everything doesn't have to be academically.
Yes.
Because we still also have to respect social skills, and social skills are also powerful. I mean, that's what made America what it is today. I mean, it's very, I mean, that you can learn so much socially and academically.
Yeah.
You know.
And I like that you're talking about your social clout and your social wealth, because I feel the difference is like I have a very wide social network, but the problem is that the contacts do not really benefit me. I mean, they are my friends and they all work in different industries, but they end up benefiting the people that I know.
Yeah.
Because it's very hard to meet people who work in my industry, because I think in every industry, especially in every country, there's always a clique and there's always the gatekeepers. So it's always hard navigating, because when people see you, they first of all, they wonder who you are and they try to find out who you are. But then there's that thing of people trying to block other people from coming, when at the end of the day, me being there might actually benefit you and help you go further than you might have, because I believe in working together and just shining a light on different people's talents as well, because I mean, it's not like I'm doing this not because, you know, it's because I really feel like that there are people out there who are depressed, who are wondering about their purpose, who don't know what they want to do and in life. And maybe someone's thinking about tennis, someone's thinking about writing, someone's thinking about having a shop, but then there's people in their lives telling them like, that's not a dream, that's not possible.
Yeah, I mean, Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I think one of the issues is that it's important to share. Like, I mean, I figure out something, even at the work I'm doing, is that we don't talk with other coaches about, innovation or update on where the game is going, what is getting better out there, what is. But then I was asking myself, maybe it's a tennis ego of coaches, but at the same time, there should never be a room for ego because in this field you're growing. Every field you're growing. I mean, there's always new change. There's always, you could do it for 30, 40 years. Every year, every day, there's new things you're growing. But it's so important to share information, to talk to each other, to explore. I mean, sometimes we miss out on somebody next to you. I mean,
True.
what they know, what they can do. And it's funny how people sometimes ask me, oh, yeah, I Googled you and wow, I didn't know you could do it. But it's like, yeah, but if you give me a chance to have coffee with me and try to
Yeah.
know me, you'll be surprised that I can also help you. Knowing connections. I mean, people can work everywhere around the world, and they don't know that. Oh yeah, this person knows everyone around the world. They can help you to maybe do a job somewhere there. But without talking, without sharing knowledge and sharing information, is not all. That is something that I find very challenging for me here. Not challenging, but disappointing because I like to share and I like to support somebody. If they're doing well, I'm happy for them. Like, because you know why? I mean, you give them that energy, you get the energy back. I mean, that's what life is all about. I don't have no reason to hold, because somebody's doing well. It's all about sharing. Life is too short.
Yeah. So are you limited to just Finland?
No. I mean, yeah, I'm doing projects in like other countries. I'm now doing project in Botswana, and then there's always clients everywhere. I mean, the more with the internet and social media and everything, there's always opportunities everywhere around the world. So, since I'm based in Finland, and I believe in the market, I believe that there's so much growth to be done. I mean, I'm pushing more since I'm available here, but obviously traveling around the world and doing projects like Botswana and stuff like that, it's good. I'm looking forward to doing, exploring the world, and that's for me. I have no boundaries where I want to go.
And do you have a specific demographic that you train?
That I train.
Yeah.
Like as far as like, basically here, yes. Based in Helsinki. That's pretty much my location. But like sometimes I do get clients that somebody wants me to work with their child in London. I'll do that, or other countries, depending on my schedule, depending where we are, where we're going. Things are open. Yeah.
I was trying to say, like, do you coach more like kid, like
Oh,
women or men? Like,
no,
that's
no,
what's-
yeah. I mean, to be honest with you, like, I love coaching every different genders, but for me, my feel about young women in Finland, I think there's an opportunity for them because there's a lot of talent. I mean, but the question is, how do you coach them? How do you deal with them? But I've experienced working with young women for so many years. But it's all about caring. It's all about being there. It's all about showing them their potential, or showing them what they can do, or taking them to another place they've never even thought about. So I'm very, very like exploring, or very into working with young Finnish women, because I think they need that. They need to be lifted up. They need to be respected and say, you know what, we can produce somebody really good in Finland.
Yeah.
So that is my goal, is to make that impact in that side of tennis.
Yeah.
The more I can help, the better.
Yeah.
In recruiting, if I can help more women to go to the US, because the opportunities are higher. The more scholarships are available for women in the US than the men, because of Title IX and gender equality, they get less money, but the women gets a lot of good money. So the more we could encourage more women to play and to keep playing sports and to build their themselves and become more powerful after graduating, the better. I think.
Because now that you mention it, there are not that many. I always hear about male tennis Finnish players, but I hardly ever hear about female tennis players who made it in tennis, basically.
Yeah, the thing about it is I think you have to promote. You have to talk about it, regardless how, some 16-year-old, 15-year-old Finnish girl, achieve something. It's good to talk about it. It's good to promote it. It's good to let people know. Yeah. Because some other little girl out there wants to be like them.
Yeah.
So how we touch people, it goes a long way. You don't have to do big things to make an impact. Little girls, they see some other girl who's not even amazing. They want to be like them. So there's always a little girl looking, to want to be something. So how we, the people managing the whole thing, how we promote, how we instill some motivation, that's why college sports, it's about a platform to encourage young girls to keep playing, go to the US, figure out who you are, and then encourage the other ones to follow,
Yes. So what advice would you give someone who would like to play college sports? Because at least playing tennis in Finland it's not cheap.
Yeah.
It's quite pricey.
Yeah, but for example, you don't have to be the best player in Finland to go to the US to play college tennis. Like for example, in Finland they have A division, B division, C division, and D division. So all this A, B, C, D, there's opportunities in that divisions, big opportunities. There's always a team in the US for everybody. Or not all the schools have all the best players. Some teams are weak, some teams are okay, some teams are solid, some teams are amazing. So there's opportunities for everyone. So there's no way, people should never limit themselves and say, I need to be the best one. I need to, if you have reached a certain level and you're competitive, you never know. You can go to the US and go to a good academic school and get a scholarship, play tennis, study hard, and to graduate. And at the end of the day, you can become a CEO just because somebody else maybe was the best before you during your time, or maybe they were number one in Finland, doesn't mean that in the future they're going to be better than you. We have to also understand the world changes, things changes every day, life changes. So just because you are not the best at the moment doesn't mean you don't have the opportunity to go to the US and study.
And people evolve.
Yeah, people evolve. Yes.
So I will leave the details of how you can contact Dominic, and it'll be somewhere on the screen and also below. So what is your take? Like, what is the best advice someone has ever given you?
My coach always told me that not to take everything too serious. Life comes and goes, like a tennis match. It's like you have to play 1 point at a time. You cannot try to be, you can't stress about things that you cannot control. Focus on what you can control. And if somebody doesn't like you, it's not your problem. Or if somebody doesn't like the way you look or the way you dressed, it's not your problem. Try to be the best you can be. Focus on you, focus on giving back, and live life,
Yeah, that is a word. So, in your opinion, what do you think you've achieved as a coach?
Yeah, I've achieved a lot of things. One of the things is as a coach, I've had different jobs in college coaching, which is very competitive. Winning is everything. But one of the most important things that I've achieved is getting young ladies and young men to graduate from college and some of them become accountants, some of them own their own companies, some of them move to New York City, where they're from a small town with 100 people, now live in New York City, having their own store. more than winning. For me, winning is winning, but be able to see someone's eyes pop up because you show them something. You're able to make an impact in their lives to become something better than, winning. Which I have won. I've coached the number 5 team in the country in the U.S., top 20 in the country in the U.S. I've coached people to become all Americans, teams to be very, very successful. I mean, I've done a great job. I've been in the top 10, one of the top coaches in college tennis, and so I've achieved a lot. But at the end of the day, for me, I think it's about getting people to change or to grow or to achieve something, to make an impact in their lives, and they can call you back and say, "Wow, coach, you used to tell me this. I can't believe I'm going through the same thing, and I'm able to deal with it because you're able to show me."
Mm-hmm. So would you say that apart from being like a tennis coach, you'd call yourself somehow like a not really a life coach, but someone who just boosts people's perception of how they can navigate through life.
Yeah.
So like a bit of a life coach.
Yeah. I mean, you're everything because, I mean, at the end, at the highest level of coaching, you're not coaching technique. Technique is like the least things. I mean, it's like they're all touch-ups. You just have to do repetition of it. But the convincing someone to believe in your message, to follow your message, to follow your the way you think, or even just to go deeper into their lives and help them to. They're going through death. They're going through depression. They're going through. Because athletes go through a lot. I mean, and just to make them believe in that they're worth it.
And their power.
Yeah. So I would say it's more mental and managing them. Managing, that's more tough. And then you have to manage yourself too. So that's the hardest part too. You can either lose yourself and focus on people more, but you have to always be able to manage both and build both. But I would say it's more deeper than just hitting the tennis ball.
True.